Belly up. Wake up! He said he's been like that all night.
You know, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose my home.
So the likelihood of them getting paid,
Very slim.
I want to send a message to the ICE. If you need any help at all, put me on speed dial.
Hello. This program spotlights investigative journalism across America. Welcome to Investigation Nation, brought to you by our network of journalists exposing greed, corruption, waste, and failed public policy. I'm Chris Ingalls in Seattle. We begin with the story of a man wrongly accused and the arrest that cost him his life.
I'm AJ Legault in Minnesota. We exposed how a postal worker having a medical emergency was thrown in jail and died because officers suspected he was driving while intoxicated.
The Dakota County Jail, November 17th, 2024. Kingsley Bimpong flops around on a cell floor.
It's horrific video to watch.
He's lying in his own urine. Guards walk by and look in as part of their legally mandated well-being checks, but for hours, do nothing. Nothing until it was too late.
He was suffering immensely.
Katie Bennett is a lawyer representing Kingsley's family. She's suing Dakota County, but says the real story starts hours before Kingsley was booked into the jail, unable to even stand on his own, accused of a crime he did not commit.
Which makes it particularly hard to watch him suffering from something at no fault of his own.
The story starts here, at the United States Post Office's Eagan Distribution Center. Kingsley works the night shift. He began complaining of a headache and then just vanished from his job. Records show an Eagan police officer spotted him driving his maroon car the wrong way on Pilot Knob Road, in oncoming traffic, bumping into the center median. He was pulled over.
Maroon Ford Edge registered to a Kingsley Bimpong.
According to the police report, Kingsley was extremely confused, did not know where he lived, and did not know where he worked, even though he was wearing a USPS vest.
Hey, Kingsley.
Yeah?
Where do you live?
I don't know.
Kingsley just kept repeating, "I don't know," and was unable to do standard field sobriety tests.
And things just go downhill from there.
There was no sign or smell of alcohol.
Hey, if you're free, can you come over here, please?
So Officer Martin Jensen, Eagan's Specialized Drug Recognition Evaluator, or DRE, was called to the scene. DRE officers go through advanced training by the Minnesota State Patrol to help identify drivers impaired by drugs and distinguish them from those suffering medical emergencies. They're trained on a 12-step process. But according to Bennett, that protocol was ignored.
Basically, none of those are done.
The lawsuit alleges Officer Jensen can be heard on body cam saying doing a DRE evaluation would just be a whole bunch of time wasted. And when asked if Kingsley should be taken to the hospital, the DRE officer responded, "For what?" Kingsley was arrested, charged with DWI, and taken by Officer Jensen to Dakota County Jail, where he was so disoriented he was unable to even complete booking. Instead of getting a medical screening, jail video shows he was placed in a cell. Minutes later, he falls, and hour after hour after hour, he rolls on the floor, unable to stand, urinating on himself repeatedly. Guards look in and document inmate and cell okay.
Paperwork says they checked on him and he was okay.
He was clearly not okay.
What was he?
Dying.
More than 3 hours went by until a female guard noted he was foaming at the mouth, having seizure-like activity, and the jail nurse was finally called.
Come on, son. Belly up. Wake up. Wake up.
Acting on the information that he was on drugs, she administers Narcan, with no results.
Come on.
Can you look at me?
Wake up.
As paramedics arrive, you can hear a guard and nurse discuss how Kingsley was ignored, the so-called well-being checks, just for show.
He said he's been like that all night. Not to worry about it.
No, that's not okay.
Well, this person is not checking when he's doing rounds. He's just walking by and scanning.
Finally, taken to the hospital, where it was determined he'd been suffering for hours when every minute counted from an untreated stroke. Our investigation finds DRE officers are specifically trained that subjects suffering from a stroke will often have a dazed appearance and be confused, and warned a stroke may mimic drug and alcohol impairment. At the hospital, Kingsley was declared brain dead. The state crime lab later confirmed there were, in his system, no drugs. For KARE 11 Investigates, I'm AJ Legault.
I'm Kyle Aboshi in Portland. Publishers Clearinghouse went bankrupt in April, and court records show the company owes all kinds of people money, including lenders, employees, and even some jackpot winners.
So stop making excuses. Only Publishers Clearinghouse can make you so rich, so fast. So enter.
There's no place like our house.
For decades, Publishers Clearinghouse made dreams come true.
Hi, people. It's true. It's really true.
And in August of 2012, the Prize Patrol delivered. John Wiley of Southern Oregon figured he was set for life.
You are John Wiley.
Yes, I am.
You're shaken. Just as it says here, you have won $5,000 a week forever.
The jackpot allowed John to retire and move closer to his kids. He bought a house near Bellingham with enough land for the 4 dogs and 2 goats. Earlier this year, John expected his forever prize payment to arrive, as it always did. $260,000 direct deposit. But the money never came. And in April, Publishers Clearinghouse filed for bankruptcy.
You know, I thought, why didn't somebody at least give me a heads up? Hey, we're going out of business, something. But no, it's like somebody just cut the cord and I'm falling.
With no annual prize payment, the 61-year-old is scraping by. He relied on that income. It was his lifeline and was supposed to be forever.
Sold my jet ski, sold my trailer. I had a little bit of money left over, and that's what I'm living on right now.
John's had trouble finding work, and the bills are piling up.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose my home.
And he's not alone.
February 28th, and the Prize Patrol is in Cottage Grove, Oregon.
In 2021, Publishers Clearinghouse delivered an oversized check to Tamar Veach and promised the prize winner $5,000 a week for life.
We were fine before, but it definitely opened a lot of doors for us, fun stuff to do with the kids. We were able to travel.
When the prize payout unexpectedly didn't arrive, Tamar and her husband Matthew had to reshuffle the family budget. They have 3 kids and a mortgage to pay for.
What kind of position does this put you folks in?
We're not drowning, but
right. It's real tight. It's real tight.
The couple, both disabled Army veterans, feel Publishers Clearinghouse strung them along with excuses and delays before the company went bust.
And really, it's cruel.
Because you do change people's lives, and now you've messed it up.
Well, and it's worse, right? It's worse to say you'll get this thing and your life has changed forever. Oh, but sorry. No, it's not.
Bankruptcy records show Publishers Clearinghouse has at least 10 unpaid prize winners. Most are owed more than $2 million.
Here we have a really, really bad situation. There's not enough to pay everyone.
University of Oregon law professor Andrea Coles-Bier says, in bankruptcy proceedings, these prize winners join the list of unsecured creditors.
So the likelihood of them getting paid?
Very slim. I'm not going to say as slim as the odds of they're actually winning the lottery, but yeah, there's not going to be much left over.
So how did this happen to an American institution like Publishers Clearinghouse, the direct mail marketing company known for its prize patrol?
We were at one point in time the most loved company in the U.S.
Darrell Lester is a retired company executive and author of Downfall of an Icon, the true inside story of Publishers Clearinghouse. He said the company used to protect winners by setting aside the money up front in secure bank or insurance accounts.
I know for a fact in my day, there was a 30-year annuity that was prepaid in the winner's name. Something changed.
In July, a company called ARB Interactive bought Publishers Clearinghouse out of bankruptcy. ARB says it'll keep running contests, but will only pay out prizes awarded after it took over. A spokesperson admitted, "We recognize the impact this has had on past winners and the disappointment caused by the bankruptcy process."
Thank you. How can I ever thank you guys?
These prize winners are disappointed, yes.
As long as I can make somebody else happy with some of this, that'll be good with me.
But mostly, they just wish they had time to prepare for the lost income and the broken promise.
I was proud of the fact that I left my children something. Now I can't leave them anything, and it really disappoints me.
And just to expand on that point, Forever Prize winners were supposed to be paid weekly for the rest of their life. Then when they die, that weekly payment goes to a recipient of their choosing. So in many ways, this bankruptcy not only impacts winners, but their children.
I'm Brian Duggar in Perrysburg, where because of Ohio's ongoing school funding issues, voters were told, pass the levy or we're taking away all the extracurriculars. And our team found that it has happened before in Grove City, Ohio, and those scars still remain.
In many states, school districts live and die by school levies. Our team in Ohio uncovers the devastating impact from a funding failure in one community.
On November 4, Perrysburg votes on a school issue. If it fails, all extracurriculars will be eliminated.
This is devastating. I've never seen a district make these kinds of cuts.
But it has happened before.
I definitely think they really thought it was a bluff.
It was unbelievable. People don't believe it now. They definitely didn't believe it then.
Kind of tore us apart.
Tears, people just absolutely breaking down.
Some families didn't recover.
Grove City, Ohio, 2008. The Greyhounds roll into the high school playoffs behind quarterback Mike Myers. Despite a first-round loss to Hilliard-Davidson, the hopes are high for next season. No one knows they are about to lose everything.
We had a lot of good players coming back on the football side, let alone the rest of the school stuff. Like one of the best bands, world-renowned bands, state championship softball team.
The year is 2009. In May, a levy goes down for the Southwestern School District in the suburbs of Columbus, one of the largest districts in the state. Grove City High School is one of 4 high schools in that district.
A lot of people really didn't understand the severity and how serious it was in May.
The district's threat is clear. One more chance in August. If the levy fails again, every student activity will be eliminated. No sports, no band, no clubs, nothing. Coaches are barred from the summer practices. Instead, Grove City quarterback Mike Myers and offensive lineman Jeremy Stump lead conditioning workouts at local parks.
We held our own player-led practices at a local park.
They ran us off that field half the time, especially with media attention. They would, after an interview, they'd be sitting there waiting the next morning. Hey, you can't practice here.
In the afternoons, Myers and Stump knock on doors, pleading for yes votes, but the campaign tears the community apart.
Not everybody was appreciative that we were going door to door. You got ran off plenty of porches. I saw neighbors turn against each other. They had been best of friends. Saw fistfights in yards and streets over it. And so it was really ugly. For such a tight-knit community, it was very ugly.
I'm more supportive of issue 47.
Myers' dad, Mark, was the co-chair of the levy campaign.
You were on side A or side B. So, we figured there were 40% of the people that were with us. There were 40% of the people that were against us. Those were the minds you weren't going to change. What we were trying to do is where's the 20%?
On August 4th, the football team and other students and their parents gather in a church across from the school. watching as the votes come in.
It was looking pretty positive early, so everybody, hey, it's gonna happen, and then it closed in the end and failed. And, you know, that started a whole thing that, to be honest with you, I don't wish on anybody.
33,000 votes cast and the levy fails by just 400. In an instant, dreams shatter.
People just absolutely breaking down, disbelief. Some of your closest friends, you no longer went to school with them because the next day they were enrolling in a different school. Probably the next day parents were getting divorced to go to different schools. It's truly one of those things, unless you were a part of it, it's so unbelievable.
I remember leaving the church the night that it failed, and I just went to my house and I went on like a 5-mile run just to try to clear my brain of what just happened, and I could only imagine what those kids were going through.
We had a tough walk that night after it failed in August. I mean, we walked from the church where the results were brought in, right past the football field on the way home, and I'm like, wow, this probably wasn't the way to go home, because, you know, he had grown up right behind the football field, and he said, Dad, I'm going to be a quarterback there someday.
For Jeremy Stump, he makes a call at 10:30 that night, a call he was hoping he would never have to make.
At 10:30, I called a head coach that I visited with, which just so happened to be Grove City Christian across the street. And I said, I'll see you in the morning. And I pulled up to a high school football field that wasn't mine and started football practice.
For those who stay, student activities don't just end, they vanish overnight.
We lost student council, we lost National Honor Society, we lost, like I said, the band, homecoming. The doors shut every day at the school at 3:30, and we got out, I think, at 3:20.
I think they tried to keep school as normal as they could, but after school, like, kids couldn't go to the track and run, tennis courts were locked, the baseball field was locked.
When you look at the school at 3:30, 4 o'clock, there's not a car in the parking lot, and that's really odd to drive by there and see nothing.
The entire town changes.
You started to see kids starting to transfer out of our school district for those reasons, which was kind of shocking, you know, especially the kids who, you know, not only they were going to those high schools, but their parents went to that high school as well.
The fallout is devastating. Some seniors become emancipated minors, couples separate, homes impossible to sell, desperate to get their children into other districts. Athletes from troubled homes lose their only escape.
Some of those kids that lost that high school football season not only lost the ability to play with those teammates, but just got lost in life. I mean, some of Mike's classmates ran into some difficulties, and I think it's because they didn't have that structure.
Mike Myers stays at Grove City, goes on to play baseball at Ole Miss, and becomes a major league pitcher for 8 seasons. Jeremy transfers to Grove City Christian, makes the playoffs, and plays college football.
And hopefully we'll have your support come tomorrow.
A levy passes in November 2009, bringing back the lost programs.
The next time when it passed, oh man, that was a night to remember.
No one in Grove City says they're angry with voters. Some of their neighbors simply couldn't afford new taxes. And they all agree school funding is a broken system in Ohio. But every person interviewed says that August night changed them, and they lost something that can never be recovered.
Every year you look forward to your child being that senior and doing the extra special things that you do when your kids become seniors, and you know, it was taken away from us too.
It was surreal. It was humbling. You were forced to grow up as a 17 or 18-year-old very quickly, and realizing how, you know, there's a lot of things in life that aren't in your control and definitely aren't fair.
The scars have mostly healed. On Friday nights this fall, the stands are full again in Grove City. The Greyhounds are back in the playoffs, and the Myers and Stumps are still in the town they call home.
I love living in Grove City. I chose it when I moved back here years ago. Grew up in the North End, but I chose Grove City because of the community and so forth. You still have those thoughts and everything, but I think it has healed. And to say that it's healed stronger, I don't know who's gonna, say that. But I say that we're back up to the community that we were. But look how many years it's been.
For those clinging to the belief it could never happen in their district, the Southwestern schools are a warning.
Nobody in their right mind would think it was possible, right? But, it happened. It happened.
Unfortunately, it did happen. So, unfortunately.
Here in Seattle, we'll reveal how immigration agents have been skirting sanctuary laws. When we come back, we'll show you how they've been accessing sensitive state data, possibly for immigration roundups. Here in Seattle, we've been reporting how state agencies unintentionally gave federal immigration agents access to sensitive data. Recently, we were contacted by a team of researchers who found evidence that dozens of police departments here are doing the same thing, possibly in violation of the state sanctuary laws. You may not even notice them, but they're watching all day, every day. These are Flock brand cameras, an automated license plate reader. Here in Auburn, there are 20 of them mounted along the busiest streets.
We started Flock to eliminate nonviolent crime.
When police officers input a license plate number or make and model of a car, these camera systems spit out information and alerts if the vehicle passes by. Police say Flock is invaluable for finding stolen cars, tracking criminal suspects, and solving crimes. But look who's been tapping into Auburn's Flock system, according to the police department's own records. U.S. Border Patrol is on the department's list of approved agencies to access Auburn's Flock cameras. What do you worry this information is being used for?
I worry it's being used for civil immigration enforcement. I worry that it could be used to just round up people where there's no criminal case whatsoever, and that's a violation of our state law.
Angelina Godoy is director of the University of Washington Center for Human Rights. Her research team just released this report that uncovered thousands of searches by U.S. Border Patrol, according to records from 31 Washington police agencies.
It was actually widespread across our state.
In a statement, Auburn PD says it's still working to determine how Border Patrol was able to gain access to its Flock system. And following the new awareness from the UW report, we've begun running monthly reports to identify and revoke access for agencies using it for immigration purposes. Even agencies that didn't approve Flock access to immigration agents are learning they too supplied vehicle data to the feds.
That's very concerning. I can't say enough appreciation for the University of Washington for sharing this information with us.
Renton's police chief just learned that immigration agents have been accessing data from Renton's 24 Flock cameras through what researchers call side door access. In that scenario, other agencies, like Michigan State Police and Florida Highway Patrol, accessed Renton's system and thousands of others on behalf of Border Patrol and ICE. ICE and the Border Patrol and other federal agencies have been accessing your data.
That would be absolutely unauthorized on our end. We did not give permissions for any federal agencies to be able to have access into our system.
What are you doing in light of this landing on your desk?
We restricted access for all other agencies, outside agencies, to have access into our network to be able to view any of our Flock until we're able to ascertain how that breach was done.
That DOL official was wrong.
The University of Washington's disclosures follow a King 5 investigation in July that revealed the Washington Department of Licensing unknowingly shared licensing data with immigration authorities. That violates the 2019 Keep Washington Working Act.
Local law enforcement agencies in our state are prohibited by state law from using state resources to collaborate with civil immigration enforcement.
The University of Washington says many of the data releases may be unintentional, but not always. In southwest Washington, in Klickitat County, the sheriff's office has been seeking to install Flock cameras.
Our country has absolutely been invaded
Sheriff Bob Songer is already on record in full support of the immigration crackdown.
I want to send a message to the ICE. If you need any help at all, put me on speed dial.
2 weeks after that story aired, we learned of a case in a small town courtroom that has big implications for police cameras all across the state of Washington. Here in Sedro-Woolley, where cowboys, loggers, and railroad barons built this historic town, new technology has been helping catch criminals. A half dozen or so Flock brand cameras are mounted along the busiest streets. These cameras can keep an eye out for stolen cars or vehicles that suspects use to commit their crimes. But earlier this year, Sedro-Woolley shut all its cameras down and asked a judge to settle a case involving a public records request. You're a tattoo artist.
Yes.
Who files public records requests.
Yeah, on my free time, yeah.
Jose Rodriguez, who works in Walla Walla, is an ordinary citizen. He filed requests asking for images from Flock cameras with dozens of police agencies. Many complied, and his records, some of which are shown here, reveal that Flock cameras are shooting images all the time of passing cars and passengers. You were worried about abuse of this system.
I felt like that's, I don't know, violating all of my privacy, everyone's privacy, regardless if you are obeying the law or not. It's not like a traffic light camera that takes pictures of all the people that are breaking the law by speeding or whatever. It's taking pictures of every single vehicle that passes by.
He calls it surveillance by Big Brother. Sedro-Woolley denied his records request and,
all rise, please,
took Rodriguez to civil court.
This is a fairly specific issue regarding a very valuable and effective law enforcement tool.
Today, the attorney for Sedro-Woolley and Stanwood, which also denied the records request, said making Flock images public would violate the privacy of individuals, and it would make them available to requesters with bad intent, like stalkers.
This is about ensuring that this technology is utilized in an appropriate manner.
This court case follows a University of Washington report last month that found federal agents accessed Washington Flock cameras, possibly in violation of a state law prohibiting their use for immigration purposes.
I think a lot of cities are discovering right now that we don't know who all has access to this.
So we're here on the city's motion for summary judgment.
The judge ruled Flock is so broad and indiscriminate, most of it not involving suspected criminals, that it must be released to requesters like Jose Rodriguez.
These images and data from the Flock do qualify as public records subject to the Public Records Act.
Attorneys for the cities involved in this case say the judge's decision is under review, and for now their Flock cameras remain turned off. In Seattle, Chris Ingalls, King 5 News. Candidates who break campaign rules get hit with big fines, but no one is making them pay. In fact, some of them didn't even know they owe the money until we told them. Coming up, our team in 3 Ohio cities has a joint investigation of a failed system to enforce campaign laws.
It's laughable. What are they going to do? How they can come up with these numbers is beyond me.
The most I ever raised on a campaign was like under $500.
I seen a lot of erratic behavior from Ms. Wallace. This girl should be alive.
There are rules for political campaigns and fines for those that break them. Our team in Ohio uncovers a lack of enforcement and tens of millions of dollars in unpaid political debt.
I'm Peter Fleischer in Cleveland. Losing an election is one thing, but losing track of your campaign debt is another. I spoke with one former political candidate who had no clue how much money they owed. And we asked the Election Commission why Cleveland holds more debt than any other city in Ohio.
I can only guarantee that I will serve the entire district.
Roz McAllister's political ambitions feel like ancient history.
I'm Roz McAllister, and I wrote this message.
She ran for the Ohio House back in 2006, 2008, and 2010, followed by a Cleveland City Council campaign in 2013. Nearly 20 years after she first ran, there's one aspect she can't leave behind.
It's laughable. What are they going to do? They can't even sell my body for science to get the money.
According to data from the Ohio Elections Commission, McAllister owes over $257,000 in political debt, and she's far from the only one. 3 News uncovered more than $96 million owed by over 1,100 former candidates statewide. Some accounts date back to 1987, older than the Elections Commission itself.
I was running a campaign on the BP plan. That's called the back pocket. My money, okay?
Data shows most of the debt and debtors come from Cuyahoga County. Over $28 million across 334 accounts.
It's a bigger pool. It's like shooting fish in a barrel to a certain degree.
Philip Richter, executive director of the Ohio Elections Commission, says Cleveland's size and many surrounding suburbs means more elections, more candidates, and consequently, more debt.
They work really hard to get people to come into compliance, and they're more than willing to do almost anything to help somebody come into compliance, but they're also more than willing to send somebody down to the commission if they don't come into compliance.
McAllister says she knew she owed money, spent on mailers, flyers, and ads even after tight budgeting, but had no clue of the total after years of fines.
How they can come up with these numbers is beyond me.
We contacted nearly a dozen debtors from the state's list. Aspiring council members, former mayors, even simple activists. None of them knew their total amount, and more than half admitted they didn't know they owed at all. One debtor who works for Cuyahoga County showed us paperwork from the state that seemingly dismissed their debt more than 20 years ago. But they're still listed as owing nearly $500,000. The Elections Commission pushed back against the idea that the system works against anyone.
Campaign finance laws, are written in the statutes, and they don't look at where you're coming from, or how much money you got.
The Constitution was written so that grassroots was the way it was supposed to be. But we've gotten now to where you have to have thousands and thousands of dollars if you want to win.
I'm here to serve all.
While McAllister never won office, she ran because she wanted to make a difference. She worries future candidates will be deterred.
There are a lot of smart people who could do the city, the county, the state. Great advantage. They don't want to deal with it because of all of this.
I'm Rochelle Aline in Columbus, Ohio. As one version of this commission is set to end and another is set to begin, we wanted to know what lessons have been learned to avoid the mess we're currently in. So I spoke to leaders with both commissions to find out.
Very good. We have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye. For the Ohio Elections Commission, or OEC.
I'd like to know what I did wrong and what I can do to fix it.
This is the work, making sure candidates and political groups are transparent about their money.
The question is, where do I pay my fine?
And collecting fines when they're not. It's work they've been doing since 1974. But their efforts have recently been heavily criticized by state lawmakers who say they're not collecting enough. Data from the OEC shows candidates owe about $96 million in outstanding fees, and $6 million of that is connected to Central Ohio. We took that number directly to the commission's longtime executive director, who told us the OEC doesn't have the power to make anyone pay.
If we don't get a payment from someone, we're obligated to send it along to the Attorney General's office for collection. And we do that. We do that on a fairly regular basis.
Citing that backlog, this past budget session, lawmakers decided to pull funding for the commission. And on January 1st, they'll launch a new 5-member Ohio Elections Integrity Commission under the Secretary of State's office. We sat down with the outgoing OEC vice chair. Was that the right call?
It was absolutely not the right call, and I've said this in multiple interviews before, and I'll continue to say it.
She says the OEC needed more teeth and staff to do its job effectively, but she worries that decisions by the new bipartisan commission could become politically skewed.
It leads me to question, will it really be balanced and fair?
We're going to show people.
We took that question directly to Secretary of State Frank LaRose.
It's going to have the bipartisanship that it needs. It's also going to have the accountability of the buck stops here, and that's how it should be.
LaRose told us his office has already made a hire for the commission.
We found a gentleman named Jim Wernicke, a longtime investigator and a public safety professional with law enforcement background with the State Highway Patrol.
The other 4 commission members will be chosen by State House and Senate leaders of both major parties. And once they're up and running, LaRose tells us the commission's first goal will be to figure out how to get those outstanding fines paid.
We need to begin the collection actions, get court orders so that you can garnish wages, put liens on properties, turn them over to collection agencies and that kind of thing, and really start to make sure that those fines are enforced.
In Columbus, Rochelle Aline, 10 TV News.
When we come back, a candidate who owes tens of thousands of dollars in campaign fines but didn't know until we told him. If you owe a big debt to a credit card company or a bank, you're going to know about it, but not necessarily if you owe a political debt in Ohio.
I'm Brian Duggar in downtown Toledo, where we had to tell a candidate for mayor that he owed the state of Ohio more than $90,000. And our investigation found that dozens of others are in the same situation.
They have been fining people and entities for years and not collecting the fines. Something close to $100 million in uncollected fines. Elections have consequences, and election law needs to be uniformly enforced.
But it's not. Our analysis of Ohio Elections Commission data shows 243 repeat violators across Ohio. Lucas County has some of the highest numbers, behind only Cuyahoga and Franklin counties. The fines range from $25 to $100 per day for each missed deadline or incomplete filing. For some candidates, those daily penalties have accumulated for years, and for some, it's shocking. Right here in Toledo, there are examples of the system not working.
We are now officially open.
Roberto Torres, running for mayor as an independent, was listed as owing $90,000. Now, Torres told us he resolved his case in 2019, paying a $250 fine with a cashier's check, a canceled check he brought for us to review, but he still appeared on the list in May.
After I was notified of it, I submitted the necessary documentation and I paid the fines. And so as far as my understanding, that's all been complete. So I know that there may be something else that's being showed, but to this date, I haven't received anything different.
Now, because of our investigation, he reached out to the state. The Elections Commission emailed him on September 11, confirming his account is closed and he owes no money. However, Alfonso Narvez, who ran multiple unsuccessful campaigns for Toledo City Council, actually does face fines of more than $110,000.
The most I ever raised on a campaign was like under $500. Never spent anything huge. When you compare the amount I spent on a campaign, less than $500 to this $92,000, it's a bit of a sticker shock, basically.
Both men point to a fundamental problem. Ohio's two-party system provides infrastructure and guidance to Democrats and Republicans, but leaves independents and minor party candidates navigating complex rules alone.
Very much so, very much so. And it's not just independents. We're talking about alternative parties like the Libertarians as well.
Yeah, there's a lack of infrastructure. I would say more, there's not as much guidance. There's a lot that goes into running a campaign. It's just not getting a name out there and saying, hey, I'm going to run and hope for the best. Like, there's a lot of background stuff that goes into it, ethics reports and just different types of filings.
Lucas County Board of Election Director Lavera Scott explains the process. Candidates get 21 days to fix filing errors. If they don't comply, cases get referred to the state elections commissions for fines.
Everything that you do in reference to your campaign finance account requires documentation. And that's the thing I always tell people. If you're in doubt, first of all, go read the book. And then you can always call our office. We get calls all the time to say, hey, I had a fundraiser, somebody donated this to me, do I have to list that? Yes, you should still list those donations.
Scott says issues often arise when an account isn't properly closed.
If I am not raising money or I'm no longer on the ballot, I could close my account, right? So you have that option. You know, you can have your option to properly close your account so you don't continue to receive notices and you don't continue to be fined.
Now, the Elections Commission has limited enforcement power. Executive Director Philip Richter says once fines are imposed, collection becomes the Attorney General's responsibility.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some of the same criticisms of the new Integrity Commission as it relates to fines, because again, they can send out notice, they can do certain things, but if something's not paid, then it goes to the Attorney General's office, and there's nothing else that really at that point that new commission can do.
The result? $96 million in fines accumulating since 1987, with little actual collection. And as Richter says, Ohio's budget eliminates the Elections Commission by January 1st, transferring cases to a new commission within the Secretary of State's office. And right now, local officials have little idea what that means.
In the interim, we have, just been told we're basically in a waiting stage to find out what will happen, after that time. Who will be the ones doing it? Who will we be sending any type of referrals to? We're still doing the things we must do in reference to auditing.
I hope that they're able to deal with them better, but I think they're going to have a lot of the same issues that the current commission has, to be honest with you.
The uncollected fines represent more than just unpaid penalties. In Ohio's nearly $100 billion budget, only $400,000 is allocated to the Elections Commission. The money owed could be used to fund the commission for more than 200 years, or be transferred to Ohio's general fund for other purposes. Critics argue the system discourages grassroots candidates while failing to achieve its primary goal: ensuring transparency in campaign finance.
It's a deterrent for someone who wants to make change. It makes it very difficult for them to want to run. It's discouraging.
When we come back, our investigative journalists in North Carolina uncover alleged abuse that went unanswered, and now a resident of an adult home there is dead.
I'm Nate Morabito in Charlotte, where 2 years before the death of a vulnerable 23-year-old, a court took action to protect another nonverbal adult in the same home, concerned about his safety. Police recently charged 2 women with abusing Aaliyah Fortner in the weeks before her death. One of those women, Marlo Wallace, has been on the radar of detectives and Adult Protective Services for years. In fact, I asked the state and police about her in 2024 as the Gastonia Police Department investigated Wallace for allegations of abuse and neglect, an investigation that never resulted in criminal charges.
That's my daughter's face. She said she had a seizure.
Alonda Nedab's maternal instincts set off alarms about her daughter's safety.
I seen a lot of erratic behavior from Miss Wallace.
But she says what she witnessed reinforced her fears.
I didn't feel comfortable with her being there.
Nedab says her nonverbal adult daughter, Ashana, lived in this home between 2020 and 2022, a time frame during which she says she documented the neglect of another dependent adult.
The garage door was open and he was sitting in a garage with nothing on but adult depends. And it was kind of chilly that day.
Records show she filed an abuse and neglect report with Gastonia Police in 2023.
I cried to the police like, please do something.
This is personal to me.
2 months before she testified against her during a guardianship hearing. WCNC Charlotte obtained video of the hearing from Nedab. during which
and Marla struck that boy in the head with a wine glass.
other witnesses shared similar fears.
She kicked him down the stairs.
And one raised concerns about Nedab's daughter.
Marla took the belt and beat her in her head.
During the more than 3-hour hearing, a Gaston County Adult Protective Services social worker detailed multiple reports received by the agency in 2022 and 2023, which resulted in several unannounced home visits.
Ms. Marlowe did sign for services to work with us to get the medication compliance worked out.
Only one of which found caretaker neglect that she said Wallace addressed.
The department does not have any current concerns.
I have done nothing but take really good care of.
Wallace disputed accusations she ever harmed the man, but the hearing officer ordered she could no longer serve as his guardian.
I am not confident that is safe where he is.
Despite the court order, WCNC Charlotte became aware he was potentially still in the same home several months later. So we raised questions with both police and the state in early 2024. In response, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services told us state confidentiality law prohibited the agency from commenting on the circumstances of a particular case. Gastonia Police, meanwhile, would only confirm an active and ongoing investigation into this matter. Eventually, Aaliyah Fortner moved in earlier this year.
She was learning how to talk.
Her stepmother told us the 23-year-old with severe autism was placed there using state resources alongside others with disabilities.
The lady of the home would always tell me she has bad days, so we would rather you not come visit.
The worst possible day came in October.
There were security cameras inside the home. The investigator saw some of the worst and degrading abuse.
Gastonia police say Wallace hit, pushed, tased, and even stomped on Aaliyah's head. By the end of the month, Fortner was dead.
A lot of it was self-defense.
Just weeks later, Wallace was back before a judge, this time in criminal court, charged with abusing Fortner and concealing her death. Nedab can't understand how it came to this.
This girl should be alive.
After so many
That could have been my daughter.
red flags.
The system failed her miserably.
In light of this recent news, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services told us the agency is now conducting case reviews, adding its thoughts are with those impacted by this tragedy. Gaston County Adult Protective Services, meanwhile, declined commenting about specifics of this case, citing privacy concerns.
By watching this program, you are supporting investigative journalism, and we thank you for that. Our reporters are always digging for the truth and holding the powerful accountable. Check back soon for more Investigation Nation, journalism that serves the public interest. I'm Chris Ingalls. Thanks for watching.